in a prayer.
Let us pray. Gracious God, we come together today to celebrate life here at River Landing. We are blessed to live in a place that offers both strength and refuge to our bodies, minds, and spirits. We give thanks and ask your blessings on the staff here at River Landing who provide us this beautiful, joy-filled place to live. We pray for those who have suffered loss due to floods, fires, and war. Give them peace and comfort and show us ways to be your hands in doing so. May our words and actions reflect your love and grace for us, with peace and kindness to all we meet. Amen.
For you that do not know, I am Dick Witt, Chair of the Resident Council for 2024, and I welcome all of you here today to be with us, and even those guys that like to play pickleball so much, I'm certainly glad that they were able to come and be with us today. It's been my privilege to be the chair for the last 2 years, not by choice, but by necessity. And I want to give special thanks to Tom, Lisa, Cindy, and their entire staff for their support over the past 3 years that I've been on the council. Their support of the council and the gift shop is tremendous. And we are so fortunate to have them a part of our lives and taking care of us here at River Landing. The gift shop, who is managed by Mary Beth Lynch, enables the council, which it falls under the responsibility of the council, and it enables the council to use funds made by the gift shop to do things here at River Landing. And if you did not know, last year we were able to give $5,000 to the meal packing, $4,000 to the Employee Scholarship Fund, and $4,000 to the Employee Appreciation Fund. $13,000. And I think that is a terrific amount of money. So, and Mary Beth is always looking for people to work in the gift shop, male or female. So if you've got a couple hours that you can donate and give back to the community, give Mary Beth a call. She'll be glad to talk to you and put you to work, I'm sure. I've been fortunate and thankful to be able to work with a lot of different people over the last 3 years. And I need to give them some special thanks. Some of them are here today, some of them are not. But I'm gonna mention by name and thank them for what they've done for me. Lacey Baines, Gwen Jackson, Jim Mabry, Katie Scroggins, Barbara Fry, Neil Shields, Marilyn Winters, Ray McKinney, and leaving this year, Kay Heflin, Joe Lorble, and Karen Garinger, and myself. And serving one more year will be Bill Blue, Scott Erickson, Mary Irvin, and Nancy Paxson. I've enjoyed the last 3 years. I've met a lot of new friends, and they have so many gifts to share and give back to the community. And hopefully in the future, we'll have more people that will be willing to donate their time and serve 2 years to give something back to this community. So at this time, I'm gonna ask each one of the committee chairpersons to come and give a short highlight of their 2024 committees.
Hi, I'm going to begin the reports of each of the board members for their areas. But before I do that, I want to say one more thing about Dick Witt. Give me your hand and stand up here with me. I don't know how unusual you know this is. Dick said there's 2-year terms. And because of unforeseen circumstances, this guy stepped into the breach where others said, no, I'd rather not. And he had already served a year as president, done a magnificent job, became a model for future presidents, and then agreed to serve another year. So I want everybody to join me in thanking this wonderful man for his service.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Well, I'm Scott Erickson, and this past year I have been treasurer. The job of treasurer is to receive money and put it in the bank. And that is always a pleasure. Another duty of the treasurer is to work with the bank if something goes wrong. As we all know, that hardly ever happens. But when it does, it provides an opportunity to learn many new things about how banks work. This year, we have three, as in past years, 3 checking accounts with Oak Ridge Bank. And those 3 checking accounts organize our various activities. One is called the Resident Council checking account. And Dick earlier highlighted that money came into that account and was dispersed from that account for various causes. And the beginning balance was $4,100 approximately, and the ending balance last year was $1,100 approximately. The second account that we have responsibility for is the gift shop account that Dick also mentioned. And that had a beginning balance of about $13,000 this year and $13,000 at the end. It was a magnificent effort on the part of the people in terms of finances, because that is the money that allowed, the excess revenue is what allowed the resident council to engage in the activities that Dick summarized, and you'll hear more about as the other members give their reports. And there's a third account that we're responsible for, and that is the employee appreciation account. And that had a beginning balance of about $14,000 at the end of the year. It's about, no, the beginning balance is about $26,000, the ending balance is $36,000. Now, in between is the real story, which Mary will later talk about, because all of you in your generosity gave a lot of money, to me a lot of money, to support the employee appreciation that was given out as checks to them in December. Well, you might wonder why we still have $36,000 in that account. Well, at the end of December, we still have money left because not all the employees cash their checks right away. Now, many do that same day, but some of them don't get their checks on that day. They get them later in the month, and sometimes there's a little bit of delay. And in January, a couple more people have already cashed their checks. So that is actually an ongoing activity, and some of the employees have taken their time to cash those. So that's why there's still a balance. Otherwise, we basically give to the employees the money that is raised every year. So it's an in and out that would be equal. We also have some cash and treasury balancing that I want to mention just to reassure everybody. All money is received by a member of the council and then given to me after it's recorded. I put it in the bank, and the bank statements that come out every month, and at least 2 officers and anybody on the board looks at those every month to make sure that there's not just one set of eyes on the money. And so far, everything has worked out okay. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Joe Lorber, I had the privilege of serving as a point person for the Resident Council's Hospitality Committee, basically throwing a party once a month. Anyway, during 2024, we've had the opportunity to welcome 31 new residents to River Landing, and I see a number of them out here in the audience today. One of the highlights of this position is to host the meet and greet get-togethers on the first Wednesdays of every month in the main living room upstairs. Over the past year, we've had a great response with each event, and we've probably had attendance of about 45 to 48 people at each one of those. It has been said that behind every leader are strong men and women. this is no exception. I'd like to acknowledge a few. First of all, Jolene and the catering department here at River Landing, because they provide wonderful hors d'oeuvres, most of which are not, I think they take the calories out when it comes down the elevator. That's what she said anyway. And she provides an attractive setting and all the other items needed to make this a great event. Cindy Hawks has always been making sure that we've had what we needed for each event, including the food and the wine. Joyce Trainer, who's one of our residents here, was a wonderful addition to the team. She says that she doesn't drink wine, but after she won that first bottle on the day that she was introduced to the community, she returned each time to manage the tickets that we use for the drawing. If you did not win, please see Joyce after the meeting, and she'll explain what went wrong. Diana Lorber also for helping assemble welcome bags, suggesting visitors, and keeping me organized. And finally, all the volunteers who so cheerfully agreed to visit new residents. And last but certainly not least, Sue Ellen Faust, who will be your new hospitality chair for the next 2 years. I just want to thank all of you for selecting me for this task, and also for your support during the last 2 years. You and the program are in very capable hands. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Bill Blue. I'm represented the Golf and Grounds. I just want to make sure you recognize that I'm wearing spring grass colors, so we're looking forward to the spring grass. It's my first year on the council, and it's a pleasure to serve your community, our community, and also to work with Scooter Nance to learn about the golf course and the grounds that we have all around us that we enjoy. Let's talk about golf. The golf course is an important part of River Landing, whether you're playing around golf or you're just out there walking the course. It's really enjoyable to be outside and to have that much space that we can enjoy. This year we had over 6,200 rounds of golf. I'll go over here. This year we had over 6,200 rounds of golf, about 17 rounds per day, in spite of all the cold weather and the wet weather that we had. Over half the rounds were played by the public. Only 45.5% were played by residents. So it's good to have our public here to get familiar with River Landing and to contribute to our revenue as well. Our grounds. Oh, and the golf course is not only used by us in public, but we have the Men's and Women's Golf Association here at River Landing. They use it most mornings of the week. There's the High Point Christian Academy, Southwest Guilford Schools, Piedmont Triad Athletic Conference for private schools uses it, and it's a valuable resource, and I think Scooter even coaches one of the high school or one of the school teams. On the grounds, I want to highlight some of the projects that were done, or things that happened this year. In last winter, we acquired a new large lawnmower to help with the old one that we had to help us mow the golf course and grounds. And that's been a big asset to the grounds crew. A memorial tree was planted on hole number 7 for Pearl Cray. And the nature trail was completed between Marcia's Garden and the clubhouse in honor of Tom Rice by Jenny Rice. And I don't know if you've seen it, but there's a fishing platform that's been constructed on the spring-fed pond between Geneva Terrace and the healthcare buildings. And you ought to go see that sometime and take your fishing pole. And in December, you know that we had pine straw spread all around the community, which makes it look very nice for the winter season. And also the staff put up all the Christmas decorations starting in November, and we enjoyed them for a whole or more than a month and took them down in January. And also, you could see the staff out there right after the snowstorm, clearing all our sidewalks, driveways, and streets. And they did a great job starting early that morning, so we appreciate that. And speaking of Scooter and the staff, Scooter has hired Daniel Knight to be his assistant. Daniel has many years of experience in golf course maintenance and landscaping, and is going to be a real asset to the team. He's also added 2 new employees, and we have our first female grounds member. So I'm glad to see that this year. Say hello if you see them outside. It's a big task taking care of our 20-year-old campus, and also the changing weather patterns that we've had affect the timing of treating weeds, fertilizing, and mowing. And that continues to affect how they do their job day in and day out. So Daniel, Scooter, and the staff are doing a wonderful job taking care of us and our campus, and they deserve our thanks.
Hi, I'm Mary Irvin, and I would, thank you. And I was the chair of the 2024 Employee Appreciation Fund campaign. Okay. Okay, my first responsibility was to determine a theme for the campaign, and that was easy. All I had to do was look around, and I could see that we are family, and that's still true. Part of my job was to prepare letters that were posted to encourage the residents to give generously and from their hearts, and that happened. As in the past, we used the Christmas tree thermometers. We had 6 in all, 5 here in this building and 1 over in the Overlook. In addition, as a way to remind the residents of who we're working for, I had pictures posted on 3 boards that were placed beside the thermometers. And this served a dual purpose. Not only did it remind the residents of the staff family, it also let the staff know that we saw them, that we see them, that we appreciate them, and that we value them. So another highlight of was the family stories that were contributed by the residents. As soon as people knew that I was heading up the campaign, they would tell me stories about encounters that they had had with with the staff. And so I asked them to submit those stories to me. And they were, I wanted them to read like chapters in a good book. And so they were posted on CareMerge and in River Currents. So another fun highlight was a skit I called Who You Gonna Call? We did that during the October River Churns. And with the help of several staff members, including you, Joe, and with the theme of Ghostbusters playing in the background, we showed in a lighthearted way who residents should call if they have a problem. So finally, and this was the biggest highlight, I collected from the 2 donation boxes and from personal hand delivery a total of over $263,000. That was a highlight. But none of these things, none of these things could have happened without much prayer, support, encouragement, editing, guidance, and experience of what can and cannot be done, or what does or doesn't work, all because of Cindy Hawks. She's the one who kept the wheels from falling off the track. In addition, Michelle Jones, thank you very much, handled setting up the Christmas tree donation posters or thermometers and getting the staff pictures on the poster boards. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. And I'm sure next year be even better. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Nancy Paxton, and I was blessed to be able to work with the Wellness Department. And there's one word that describes Wellness 2024, and that is wow. The staff wow are many. Courtney was promoted to Director of Wellness in January, Armando hired into the Wellness Assistant position, and an organizational change with activities and communication moving into the department. In March, Celeste became the activities coordinator, and Allison, the communication coordinator, focused on resident communications. Jill, with the assistance of Joanne and Tony, taught an expanded roster of classes. In November, Armando transferred to Human Resources, and Atricia Walker has filled that position this January. Plus, Alaya White, the new corporate IT coordinator, began technical support for the wellness functions. The wellness team has historically been great. However, the reorganization, the leadership, and their team approach multiplies individual talents and is taking wellness to a new level. The program WOW is the continuation of treasured activities and trips and the addition of new programs and events. Just a few highlights: the Spring and Fall Olympics, the Easter Egg Extravaganza, I can hardly pronounce that one, the new Summerfest concert series, the 4th of July Golf Parade, the Fall Festival, and the first annual Christmas Parade in Mingo. The wellness staff continued to support resident programs, concerts, clubs, and funeral, and shared activities with the healthcare staff. The core WOW includes the multiple classes and programs in the gym, exercise center, studio, pool, classroom, and on 1390. The Kaiser study was one of the many accomplishments. The core programs focused on and encourage residents and staff of all abilities to have a healthy, active lifestyle. Participant numbers reflect high utilization and appreciation of these essential core components. The last WOW is the participation of all departments, department managers and staff in the planning and execution of major wellness events and the wellness staff participation in other major events sponsored by administration, marketing, and resident life. So that to me is wow. I would leave you with a line from an old hymn that captures this last year for all staff. Blending human skills together, gracious gifts from God unfold, and we are gifted and blessed. Thank you.
It has been my privilege to serve as the council's liaison to FURL, the Free University of River Landing, and the Employee Scholarship Committee the past 2 years. In this past spring semester in FURL, we offered 13 classes and had 657 registrants. In the fall semester, we offered 12 classes and had 763 registrations. As most of you are probably aware, we started taking attendance this semester. Word had gotten around that you didn't need to register. Not true. We do need to know how many people are coming so that we can make adequate preparations for the room, handouts if they're needed and everything. So we ask you to please register for the classes. The other thing we found out since we were taking attendance was that only about 65 to 70% of the registrants were actually in the classes. Now, I know sometimes unforeseen things come up and you just can't get there. But this next year, we're going to put in place a few little changes and reminders to help your memory remember to get to the class. For spring semester 2025, we have 11 class offerings. You should receive your course catalogs around January 22nd, which is, I believe, 1 week from today. With registration starting February the 5th here in the MPR, like we have traditionally done, and then it will also be available on the 6th and the 7th outside Cindy's office, like we've been doing lately. So you've got lots of opportunities. If for some reason you can't make any of those opportunities to register, please call me or talk to one of your friends and have us register for you. On December 6th, we held an appreciation reception to thank all the presenters of 2024 and to recognize the 3 years of service Wiz Horner and Helen Shills have served on the Furl Work Group. Elaine Erickson and Jack Humphreys are the new members of that group. They joined Jim Mabry, Susan Sitnick, Lois Edwards, Dick Coe, and me. As always, you are encouraged to come forward with your ideas for class presentations. You can complete the form that's found on CareMerge or talk to any work group member. Now, if you've ever wanted to contribute some of your time to a group here at River Landing, I highly recommend the Employee Scholarship Fund Committee. Not only do we get to give away other people's money, but we also meet some of the most wonderful people who work here at River Landing. The money comes from the River Landing Educational Scholarship, which was established in 2016. The Fisher, Croom, Shepherd, Landing, and Burkhart Educational Endowments. These funds are managed by Marisa Ray, who is Director of Development for Kentura. And this year, the River Landing Council, as Dick mentioned, also contributed $4,000. Our committee included Lyona Beck, Dick Hoban, Kathy Rickard, Harvey Loud, chairperson, and me. In June, we had interviews with each of the 37 applicants. We all commented how we wish that you could all sit in on these, but realized that would be a little intimidating for the applicants. So I recorded some conversations with, I think, around 10 of the multi-year recipients. And those are still available in the video section on CareMerge if you didn't happen to see them on 1390. On July 15th, we awarded scholarships to 37 very worthy and appreciative recipients. Thank you.
I'm Karen Garinger. I served as the secretary for the resident council for the last 2 years. And the job, is that good? The job of the secretary is to take the minutes at all of the resident council meetings, which sometimes can be a little lengthy, just so you know. It can be a little lengthy. Once I have taken the minutes, I send out a first draft to all the members of the council and to Cindy Hawks and check it for any changes that need to be made. Then a second final draft is sent to all of the members of the council and the administration, Tom, Cindy, and Lisa. So that's kind of the way it goes each month when we have the meetings. Also, once Cindy has the final draft of the minutes, she files them or posts them on CareMerge, and she puts a hard copy in a folder in the library. I've heard people say, we have no idea what goes on in the minutes or in the meetings. All you have to do is look at the minutes, and they are available readily on CareMerge and also in the notebook in the library. So take advantage of that and check up and see what are the folks on the resident council doing and what do they talk about in those long meetings on the first Tuesday of every month. But they're available, and I think it's helpful to people to kind of keep up with what's going on with the council. So that's my report about my job, what I've done for the last 2 years. And at this time, I'm going to introduce the nominees for the resident council for the positions that need to be filled for the next year. We have 4 nominees, and I'll begin with Troy Brim. Okay. Troy has worked at Burlington Industries and Texfi Industries as in accounting and plant management. He has been the president of Pinehurst Furniture Company, Pello Window and Door, North Carolina, and Pello Window and Door, Tennessee. He has a BA in accounting. He has served on the boards of Geneva Corporation, Pella Advisory Board, and Treliant Federal Credit Union. He served in the U.S. Army Reserve 1966 to 1972. Our second nominee is Sue Ellen Faust. She has been a psychologist for the state of North Carolina and North Carolina Public Schools, served as a psychology research and assessment person for the H.R. Challey Group, Director of Communications for Medical Mutual, and Director of Operations for the North Carolina Dental Society. She has a BA in psychology from Wake Forest University and an MA in psychology from UNC Chapel Hill. She serves on the Development Committee for the River Landing Foundation Board and volunteers with the River Landing Marketing Department. Third representative is Harvey Loud. Harvey worked 40 years in the chemical manufacturing business, and 20 of those he was a president and CEO. His education is a BS in chemical engineering from Tufts University, and he has volunteered with multiple nonprofits in High Point, served on the River Landing Scholarship Committee for 4 years, has been a board member and chair at Lees McRae College and High Point Community Foundation, and was awarded the Order of the Longleaf Pine in 2022 by Governor Roy Cooper. Linda Thomas is the last nominee. Linda directed the Retired Senior Volunteer Program in Charlotte and was a computer programmer for Klausner Furniture. She serves in the Stephen Ministry as a minister and leader. She has a sociology degree from UNCG and has sung in church choirs, plays the chimes, has facilitated Sunday school programs, and a community Bible study. She is a member of the chorus and ringers here at River Landing. And at this time, Dick is going to come and lead the election for these nominees.
Thank you, Karen. I'll break it. Following our bylaws, if the person's been contacted and they're willing to serve, then nominations can be taken from the floor. Do I have any nominations from the floor?
Mr. Chairman, I move that nominations be closed and the nominees are accepted by acclamation.
Okay, I have a motion. Do I have a second? Second. Several seconds throughout the neighborhood. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Well, we welcome 4 new members to the council for the class of 2026. Do we have any old or new business? Well, hearing that, I'm going to turn the meeting now over to Mr. Tom Smith. He has allotted his time, and everybody will keep a record of it.
I don't know. I feel like I get no respect sometimes, like Rodney Dangerfield, right? So, yeah, Karen, I mean, looking at me when you said about the long meetings, I mean, come on now. You know, interestingly, do you all know that there's an anniversary today, a 16th anniversary or something? Does anybody know what that is by any chance? What's that? So, and the only reason I know this is because I watched a movie last night, and the movie was called Sully. So if you remember the Miracle on the Hudson, that happened 16 years ago today, believe it or not. So I just thought that was kind of interesting when I was watching that last night. So you see miracles still happen every day. It's, you know, I think if you ask some of the council members, it's a miracle I'm still here at River Landing, I think, right? Just kidding. You know, but I want to start out by saying, let's give the whole council a great round of applause. They have done such a great job for you all. Okay, So brace yourself. I have only about an hour and a half worth of stuff. So here we go. I always like to start the meeting kind of giving you a quick update on occupancy. So as of today, in independent living, we have 343 of our 354 households occupied. That's 97%. Assisted living today is 55 occupied out of 56. That's 98%. And skilled nursing, we have 55 occupied out of 60. That's 92%. We are pretty full at the end here, y'all. We have a total number of residents of 630 living here at River Landing, 181 couples living at River Landing. We are 100% sold and occupied. And get this, we have 900 households represented on our Resident of the Future list. 900. So I could get rid of all of you and bring another group in and get rid of all of them and get rid of all of them and bring another group in and still have enough to be able to, residents to be able to fill the community. So that's amazing when you think about it. Last year at this time when I stood up here and talked to you, we were at 731. So we've added 169 residents of the future households in a year. And the other thing that's amazing to me is 2 years ago, we were at 533. So that's 367 residents of the future. So anybody want to guess how long it is to get into a 3-bedroom cottage here at River Landing? 8 to 10 years is what it is now. So that's just amazing to me. So, you know, and there's a lot of thanks to be said for that. You know, obviously we have a great marketing and sales team here. Betsy, Martha, Michaela do a great job for us. But you know, you all really are the main reason why we have so many people on our list. Stop inviting your families here. Stop inviting your friends here so that they won't sign up for a list. I'm kidding. No, really though, I mean, I really appreciate the fact that you all go out of your way to help us with our recruiting efforts. And so I think that the number represents that there's a lot of happiness here at River Landing. And so I take great pride in that number. And I can tell you the marketing team does for sure. Switching gears. We have a We Care program here. Hopefully most of you know that, where we recognize staff members that go above and beyond. You know, we talked about the fact that, I think Bill brought it up, that Golf and Grounds did a great job clearing the roads here this past weekend. But what you don't know is we had 60 staff members spend at least one night here this weekend. So if you saw them in the pool or in the hot tub or in the gym or in the They think it's Club Med here, to be quite honest with you. And so for whatever reason, I don't have any problem convincing staff members to stay for the snow event. So, but 60 staff members, you know, and that's nursing, that's dining, that's our security team, our Golf and Grounds team, you know, the cool thing, and I wish you all could see this, it's not like we have to really beg them to stay. It's kind of like, hey, we've got this situation, we've got a snow event coming up. Okay, I'll stay. What apartment am I going to be in? What cottage am I going to be in? So it's really neat that the staff love it here so much that they were excited about being here over the weekend. So I think that's really cool. Speaking of anniversaries, we got an anniversary coming up, 22 years. Our actual anniversary is on the 30th of this month. And this is kind of neat. Our anniversary dinner is actually on the 30th this month. So it'll actually be exactly 22 years. It'll be a true celebration. Okay, I'm going to stop here for a second because I was going to give an annual appeal update, but Wiz Horner accosted me when I came in today and said, you know, you won't do it justice, Tom. You need to let me come up and actually talk about the annual appeal. So, Wiz, I'm going to turn this over to you. It's against my better judgment, but I'm going to ask you to come on up and actually give a report on the annual appeal since you so boldly wanted to do this today.
These your notes up here, Tom? Oh, no, Get rid of those babies in a heartbeat. I'm glad you found something to do last night watching the movie. That's good. some of us watched Duke annihilate Miami in basketball. Good, there's a couple of them. There you go. Thank you, Carrie. We didn't quite know what our situation was going to be as far as the annual appeal was this year. And it was sort of nip and tuck, I think, down there up until till really towards the end of December. Our goal this year was $175,000, and it was the same thing as we had in 2023. And hopefully you know that the annual appeal is money that goes to help residents who have, through no fault of their own, run out of their funds. That can be a good thing because we have lived long enough to outlive our funds, and that's, you know, a positive thing. But by the same token, every year we have probably somewhere between 15 and 20 residents that occurs to. So this annual appeal is to take money and put into the general fund account so that we can help offset that loss. This year we had a total of 294 gifts or donations, and that's from River Landing residents. Of that 294, actually 158 were from resident households. So roughly about half of the resident households did make a contribution to the annual appeal. The other donations were from staff and board members, also families of the annual appeal, of residents, both past and current, helped out with that. Vendors and contracts. And this year we did something a little bit new with Tom and Lisa's approval. Liz and I decided that this group that Tom just talked about, the ROFs, the Residents of the Future, we thought that's a group that we have never talked to about the annual appeal before. Let's maybe go out to them and see if they would be interested. And a number of them were. So that was good that, that's a new group that we can I think that we can take a look at. So thanks to Betsy for helping with that. So our total for the year, remember we have going for 175,000. Our total as of last week, and maybe there's a few more checks in the mail, gosh, I would hope so, is $229,001. I don't know who that $1 came from, Tom. But that's just to tell you that every dollar does count. So thank all of you for what you did and what you continue to do to help out our fellow residents. Thank you.
Thank you, Wiz. That dollar was for me in appreciation of your efforts this year. I wanted to make sure that I properly recognized you for that. Okay, a few more things. Sandy Ridge Road expansion. You know, I've got a contact now with North Carolina Department of Transportation besides having one with the City of High Point government. I talked to the representative from the North Carolina Department of Transportation. He assured me that things have only been delayed a year now at this point. They're going to end up picking a contractor in the summer with the hope of starting next year. And I said, what about funding? And he said, well, that's a good question. They're probably going to need that funding for out in Western North Carolina. But once FEMA reimburses for that, we should be able to get our funding back for that. So I'm thinking 10 years, 15 years before we'll see. So we'll have more on that as we kind of hear about what's going on. Clinic update. Some of you hopefully have had a chance to meet Lori Saunders. She's our new PA in the clinic. She's going to be a great one, y'all. I think you're going to like her very much. She's going to be joining our team of Dr. Blake and Keela and Veronica and Kenitra, who are there. Exciting news. We're going to be on a trial basis, adding some part-time Saturday hours in the clinic. So we will have a provider in there, 3 hours on Saturdays, starting in February, I think it is, right, Lisa? Is it February that we're starting? That's our goal. So we're going to try that for 90 days and see how that goes. And, you know, we think that there'll be some usage for that, because how many times has it happened that you all get sick or something happens on a Friday evening, right? Or Saturday morning. So we think it'll be good to have somebody in the clinic. And I know this has been something that the residents have wanted for some time. So excited to be able to bring that to you. As far as the merger goes, the Management Services Office, I've been trying to push them off our campus for many years now, but finally trying to be able to get that to be able to happen here in April. I think they're going to be moving out, and I'm kidding about that, but they are moving out in April to their new buildings. Their new buildings are actually near the airport. So when airplanes are coming in and out, they are going to hear them for sure where they're located at. But they got 2 really nice buildings over there, and they're working on renovating those 2 buildings for their move out. As most of you probably know, we've been working with the daycare here to see if they were going to be buyers for the Management Services Office building out front. And that is still being negotiated to this point. So we're still working through that. Hopefully, that'll be something that we can finalize in the next several weeks or so. You know, I wanted to share with you, I've had a lot of residents ask me, you know, how the merger's going and those kinds of things. And quite honestly, you know, from the field side of the operation, we don't see a lot of the inner workings. There's a lot going on at our corporate offices, as you might guess, with the merger of 2 organizations. But I'll tell you one positive that's come out of this that I didn't quite expect, but I think it's a really good thing, and it has to do with our staff. Because now we have merged with the Wellspring Group, our base of employees has gone up quite a bit, as a matter of fact, when you look at all the communities combined. We were able to, this year, negotiate with Blue Cross Blue Shield for a new program, a new healthcare program for our staff, which we would not have qualified for under the existing arrangement before. This is a great program for our staff. We started this as of January 1. Our staff are very excited about the new health insurance program that we have for them. And that wouldn't have happened if it hadn't been for the merger. So, you know, there's a lot of times that mergers sometimes bring negative effects. This is a real positive one that I think happened because of that. So I thought you all might be interested in that. Good news, state survey team came in back in early December. You might remember when the state survey team comes into our nursing center and does their survey, they come in unannounced, so we never know when they're going to come in and surprise us. They did their best to try and find problems in our nursing center. They even spent an extra day this year, and I think they were just really having trouble finding anything to kind of cite us on. Finally, on the last day, they found one minor deficiency that they could actually get us on, and so they packed up and left right after that. So, but really, I think it goes to show you we have a 5-star health facility. It's 5-star for a reason. We've got amazing people over there running our healthcare for us, and they did a great job with the survey team, and they do a great job with the residents in general. So very proud of them. They did a great job this year with the state survey. And that can be a little bit of an intimidating process when you have 3 or 4 folks in here and they're just watching your every move, waiting for you to make a mistake. You know, if you're a nurse passing out pills and things, and you got somebody just standing there kind of grading you as you're doing it, kind of thing, it's a little intimidating. Okay, going forward for stuff for this year, we have put together a pavilion committee for the new pavilion that we're going to be building out back here, and so we've got 7 resident representatives on there and several staff members. We're going to be working with our architect to be able to kind of design what that's going to look like. And we are really excited about this. I think this pavilion is going to be really a great addition for River Landing. It'll get us away from having to use tents for some of our main attractions that we normally have. And I just think there's so many things that we're going to be able to use this new pavilion for. So very excited about that. So we'll have more about that as we get going, but we're going to be having our first meeting with the Pavilion Committee in the end of towards the end of January. Another thing that we're working on that's going to start fairly soon is that we are going to be redoing our front entrance. Now, when I talk about the front entrance, I'm talking about the front of the building here where the flagpoles are. We're going to be redoing all of the landscaping around that front end. We're going to be taking almost everything out of there and redoing it. And there's going to be a lot of pavers. There's going to be a lot of different areas for residents to sit at. We're doing a lot of low growth stuff instead of higher growth stuff. And I'm really excited about that. If you get a chance to come or watch the Churn Show today, I'm going to try and have a little, Michelle and I are going to try and figure it out, a way to be able to kind of show you a little bit of a picture of what that's going to look like. But that's going to be beautiful, and we're going to have I think you're all going to really like the way the front entrance looks. And that's part of a 5-year plan that Scooter and Daniel and I have been working on for the community itself, as far as really upgrading some of our landscaping, especially in and around the building, but not just limited to the building. This is going to be all around the campus. So we've got a lot of work to do, I think, from a landscaping standpoint. Now that we've got extra team members that we can utilize to help get that done, I'm excited we're going to be able to kind of make some headway on that. And this is a cool thing. I don't think we've announced this yet. We have just, within the last couple of days, hired a part-time technology concierge for you all. So, yes, I think that's great. So how many of you end up having problems with your phone or your tablets or whatever, and you go down looking for Allison or Celeste well, Allison and Celeste need to be able to get their jobs done. So we decided to go ahead and hire somebody part-time to come in. Her name is Heidi Davis. She's a retired school teacher. And wait till you meet her. She is lovely, she's great, and she's going to be fantastic for you all to be able to kind of bring your phone issues with, and she can help you with that, or iPhones. And the great thing is she has an iPhone, her husband has an Android. So she's well-versed in both phone systems at this point. So, but we'll probably have her working Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. I think 4 hours a day is what we're talking about. And she'll be in that office area where the bank usually is on Wednesday afternoons. But we'll have some information coming out about that shortly here. We don't have a start date yet for her, but we hired her just a couple days ago. So I think that's going to be great, and I think you all will like that. I can't let this meeting go without saying thank you. Mary mentioned about the $263,000. Your generosity is just amazing. That just blows me away that you all raised $263,000. I really thought maybe that you all misunderstood and thought it was $363,000 that you had to raise, and so you were trying to really kind of, I don't know what it was, but the amount of generosity you all have and what you did for the staff for Christmas was amazing. The staff members in our departments, Joe, I see you over here. Our staff members were crying when they were opening up their checks and seeing, and it just was wonderful. And if you had a chance to come to watch the staff get their checks that day, the staff were so grateful. It's really it's a very energetic time during the staff Christmas party when you all hand out your gifts to them. So thank you for doing that. Okay, I think I'm done. Last thing, I just want to say thank you. 2024 was a great year, I thought, in a lot of ways. You had an amazing council that Lisa and Cindy and I got a chance to work with. We're so fortunate that I think that we have such a great family of folks that live here, that work here. I don't know about you, but it seems like when I go through that gate at the front, when I come in the morning, I feel like I'm coming into this protective bubble or something that, just feels like River Landing is just kind of separated from the rest of the world. And I'm grateful for that. It's so great to be able to come in here and be a part of this family of believers. And it really is a safe haven. And I really wish the rest of the world was like this, to be honest with you. Maybe one of these days it will be again. Thank you very much. I appreciate your time and allowing me to be able to come up and be your executive director for 22 years now. Thank you all so much.
I really try to keep him, his time short, but you know Tom. Is there anything else good for the order? Again, it's been my privilege to be with you guys for 3 years and ready to turn the reins over. If there's no further business, then I would declare our meeting adjourned. Thank you.